My name's Wendy, and I live in Costa Rica right now. I sold my business about 7 years ago. Now I travel and I do a lot of volunteer work. I'm in Thailand a lot, Cambodia, and then I do a lot of turtle sanctuaries in Costa Rica. And so it's a lot of heavy lifting and things like that. My pain came up over time. Pain was, at first was little by little. I used to be a runner. I used to do serious weight training, squats, lunges, training, and was very into my body and health. And then slowly I was able to do less and less and less. And to the point where before I came here, I could barely bend over and tie my shoes. Like I said, doing a lot of volunteer work, it's just more and more pain, and then like vibrating pains down the backs of my legs. I couldn't even stand up in an upright position because of the pulling on the back of my legs and through my buttocks and my lower back. It felt like it was like a really tight spring, and I could not stand upright.
As her pain continued to develop, she tried conservative treatments.
When I was still in the States here, obviously I went to the chiropractor, got x-rays. So I tried that route, epidurals and, whatever over-the-counter pain meds I could stick into my stomach without being sick, and doing less and less. I wasn't able to run anymore. I was not able to lift things anymore. And then the doctor's like, now you can walk. And I'm like, I'm too energetic and young to just walk. And then the pain really started getting bad because I quit doing the epidurals because I was in Costa Rica, and I also wanted to be at that maximum pain level before I came here. And when I realized what my body's real pain level was at, when I was doing nothing, I realized that I needed to do something. I was doing damage to my body. I was starting to feel tingling in my toes. I said, it's time. And before I lost permanent, nerve damage.
Desperate for help, she went to a neurologist where they diagnosed her with spinal stenosis and recommended a spinal fusion in her lower back. Having already suffered a failed fusion in her neck, Wendy put off having surgery.
And then when I finally saw a neurologist, I went and they did MRIs, and they said my first problem was like in my arm and in my neck. So I went ahead and got the surgery on my neck, and was not loving that recovery process. It was very hard recovery, and I actually still have some nerve damage in this left arm. And so when it came time to do my lower spine, I just kept putting it off and putting it off. My neurologist in North Carolina definitely suggested to do the lower lumbar spinal fusion, and I kept reading into it, and then I looked at the recovery process, and I also talked to many people, and I just talked about that recovery time, and the prognosis of most people that get that surgery is not good. When they said that they wanted to do the fusion again, I just had heard so many more, horror stories. And again, the recovery period and wearing the brace and not being able to do anything. Again, my neurologist said even after the fusion, I will still never be able to do the things that I want to do. I should still never lift weights or, do yoga. Not even yoga. Forget about running, I drive an ATV. I'm always, I just want to be out there and be doing things. I retired early. I want to go do stuff. And so I was not willing to take the risk. After the fusion on my neck, it was miserable.
A friend told Wendy about the Bonati Spine Institute, and she decided to make a call to see if they could help.
I was building my home in Costa Rica, and my architect, who happens to be from Texas, who's also living in Costa Rica, she said, have you heard about this Bonati guy? Because I told her I was considering the fusion again, and she would see me in such pain, and I was always complaining. And so I just got online, and I called, and I sent my MRIs, and they were very swift and very informative on the phone even. And the MRIs got shipped here, and they called me right away and said I was a good candidate.
Upon hearing she was a good candidate for the exclusive outpatient Bonati spine procedures, where no hardware is ever used, she made an appointment.
Even the first day I came here from my consultation was the same day I had my surgery. I flew in, they signed me in, they did my consultation, took me in, did another MRI, did my blood work, and I was in surgery in that afternoon. That's the beauty of it, because, any other place, it's months. You get a month to see a doctor, and then you have to go over here and get MRIs, and you have to go over here and get another measurement for a brace, or you have to go and get an x-ray from a different place, and then you have to see the doctor again, and then you have to stay in the hospital for at least 3 nights, and takes a whole day to get out of the hospital, and then you're laying flat. They're telling you you're doing nothing for at least 6 to 8 weeks. I loved it because everything was right here. I mean, it was bam, 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 bam. I just walked over there, no waiting, MRI, nice big machine. Last MRI I had, I was probably it looks like it was an antique. Felt like it was an antique. Seemed like way more x-rays and way more positions and way more, technical than I've ever had before, as far as the x-rays for sure. Dr. Keither came in. He was the first surgeon to ever show me that I actually have a fine line fracture on both sides of that vertebrae that was done years ago. And then, of course, as we get older, we form arthritis in there, and you get all that scar tissue in there. And he says, and that's what we need to go in and clean out.
Like many, Wendy was nervous about being awake for her procedures, but soon realized that the surgical staff at the Bonati Spine Institute are committed to keeping patients calm and comfortable throughout the entire process.
After talking to the anesthesiologist, which was he was very thorough. I remember talking a little bit, talking to the surgeon and telling him, I feel it in my leg, I feel it in my back, but I mean, no pain. I had no pain at all and very little recollection on my first surgery. And the second surgery, I kind of remember a lot more, but yeah, it was fine. There was no pain at all.
Yep. Any pain up here?
Nope.
Hamstring?
Nope.
Side?
Nope.
When she stood up in the recovery room for the first time, she knew right away her pain was gone.
As soon as I got up off the table and started walking, and I remember that too because I kind of went down and did a little model turn, pretending I was on the runway because it really felt good. Next day, still the same thing, still felt great. The next morning, I was excited to get back in here and get the other side done so I could just get it done and be happy and go on my merry way.
Having already experienced the recovery process after a fusion surgery at a different facility, Wendy was amazed at the difference of the Bonati spine procedures.
It was miserable. The first time, I immediately told my husband, I'm like, go out and buy me a recliner because there's no way I'm going to be able to sleep for the next 8 weeks. I couldn't do anything. The recovery was just brutal. At Bonati, I took an Uber back to my hotel. I ordered Uber Eats, watched a movie, and enjoyed my evening. I was back here at 8:15 with a smile on my face.
At the Bonati Spine Institute, patients are not required to wear uncomfortable braces or go through weeks of physical therapy. Instead, they are told to walk about an hour each day.
They said to walk, try to get walk a little bit more, and tomorrow they said to start trying to walk at least an hour a day.
Wendy recommends anyone suffering with neck or back pain to contact the Bonati Spine Institute.
If you're debating on whether you should get this surgery, whether it's monetary, whether it's time, well, if it's time, this is the place. But you just can't put a price on your quality of life.
Now out of pain, Wendy is looking forward to traveling and enjoying her active lifestyle.
I'm already getting online and getting ready to book my next trip, and I don't even really have to spend that extra money for that laying down bed. I can actually maybe get a business class and sit upright now this time.